Hello everybody, Self-Care Samantha here, and this is my page where I teach you that the quality of your self-care is the quality of your life, and that's not self-love. I really don't know what it is. So I've changed my little teaching board here a little bit, you might notice. Over the last few videos, I've been teaching you the 8 elements of self-care, teaching you a little bit about my story and how I even came up with this. This is what I call the grit board. And the grit board is how I manage my self-care so that I can never, ever, ever not be cared for. And this has changed my life, okay? So I want you to understand the purpose of the board really matters because it's the building blocks of how you're going to create the habits that increase the quality of your life, okay? It's really easy to say, I'm going to win the lottery and my life's going to be better, but if you don't have money management skills, you'll probably fail. It's really easy to say, I'm going to get that new job and everything's going to be better. But if you haven't figured out how to take care of yourself outside of that 8 hours a day, it's not going to get better, okay? So we need something in our lives that helps us stay on track. This is something also that you can apply to your children if you have any, okay? So the first thing I want to tell you about the board is that it's going to have a purpose of tricking your subconscious, and it's going to help with our dopamine, okay? So dopamine is like the feel-good chemical when we get a like on Facebook, when we win a little scratch ticket, okay? Things like that. So number one, your board needs to be huge, okay? My board is 3 by 4. I want your board to be minimum 2 by 3 feet. Why? Because we need to put this nice and big, and it needs to be nice and central so that every time you pass it, you can't ignore it, which means you have to do your things to take care of yourself, okay? So the bigger the board, the easier it is to not ignore it. So this is how we subconsciously trick ourselves into new habits, okay? Your habits are the definer of how your life is going, which means your habits are part of your self-care. So all these 8 elements are habits that we need to have in check all the time, okay? So let me explain the structure of the board here for a second, and I'm going to make sure I take a still photo of this so that you can actually see it the way it is. We have Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right through the whole week. AM and PM, that's a daily thing. We're going to talk about this side in a second, okay? I want to focus here first. This is the most important part, okay? So let's see, is there something else? Okay, the other thing I wanted to say about this is that with this board, you're going to create habits, and creating habits is what creates discipline, okay? What does discipline do? Discipline means specifically that you are training yourself into the mental faculty you would like to be in, okay? So when you go to university, you take a discipline. You're training yourself, okay? Discipline doesn't mean punishment. Get that out of your head. Discipline is actually the exact opposite of punishment. The unfortunate truth is if you're my age, you were raised with the word discipline to mean punishment. And in a sense, yes, punishment is a form of discipline because we're trying to train somebody to act or behave or be a certain way. But we're not those little kids no more, okay? So we're not being punished. We're disciplining ourselves to increase the quality of our life. I know, it sounds totally simple. It took me years to figure this out, guys. So if it doesn't seem that simple to you, it's okay. That's why I created this, okay? So this started in my life probably about 7 or 8 years ago. I was really at a low point. Everything in my life was like a disaster, and I had to figure something out, okay? So I have always been rather studious. I've always been really interested in like, how does that work and things like that. So this board, we're going to do a couple of things with. We are going to create habits that create discipline. We're going to trick our subconscious, and we're going to increase our dopamine. Dopamine, again, is that feel-good chemical, okay? So when you have a board like this, usually it comes with a few markers. Here's a couple of my markers. There's a red one somewhere, but I think my cat's playing with it or played with it today. So we have other colors available, and I want you to have that. Okay? A lot of this stuff is dollar store stuff, guys. You can get this on Amazon. You can get a board like this at some dollar stores. You can probably get one of these at any type of like stationery. Like, does that even exist anymore? I guess Staples is a place you could get one. Okay. So we have these 8 elements that we need to manage every single day of our lives. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you need to do at least one thing for yourself to make sure that you're cared for. So I'm going to make a very bold suggestion and say, let's start with money, okay? And let's put money here on Sunday because it's a great day to tally up what did I spend all week against what I didn't want to spend this week and start making sense out of inventorying before you get a budget. Remember, we talked about this in my outer self-care video, okay? So we want to inventory what we've been spending so that we can actually make a budget that works, so that we can actually discipline ourselves, okay? And I think Sunday is a great day to do that. I don't know your schedule. I'm basing this off the fact that you probably work Monday to Friday, okay? That's the best I can do to kind of hit the average audience, okay? So you're going to take care of your money on Sundays. You're going to inventory. That is really bad writing. Sorry, guys. Okay, so the next thing we're going to think about is what's going on in these. So I'll tell you where I personally had to start was with my environment, okay? Because that was the thing that was the hardest for me, was like the worse I felt, the worse my house was. And that's how I started this board, was putting in what chores I absolutely had to do. So for example, garbage, because as you know, garbage day is usually only once a week. Okay, where I live now, I actually have to physically go to the dump, and the dump is not open 7 days a week. So I usually do that on Wednesdays. Okay, so I'm going to write dump because that's what I have to do. For you, it might be that you have to bring the garbage out. Okay, so let's cross that off our list. What else do we have here? Social is a really important one. But the beauty about social is that you can add this to play, okay? So maybe you and your friends want to go to bingo. Maybe you and your friends want to go to soccer. Maybe you and your friends want to go to one of those little sip and paint things, okay? Let's say that always happens on a Thursday. So let's just write friends. Okay, that's your night. And if you say to yourself, well, how am I going to get my friends to do that? You're going to fucking ask them, okay? That's how it is, okay? One of my most important lessons that I learned in life from somebody that I still really admire, I wish we could be friends, to be completely honest with you, but I'm not there yet with him, maybe vice versa. But he taught me this, was when I was about 30, he's like, wow, you have really shitty friends. And I was like, what? And he was right. They weren't good friends. They weren't lifting me up. They weren't reaching for more in life. They were sitting around complaining and doing nothing. So he told me I used to have friends like that. So I stopped hanging out with them and I started going to places to make new friends. And he's like, I had to call them first. I had to say, hey, do you want to do this? I had to do that. But eventually I got a new group of friends. I took that to heart, okay? And I started inventorying my friends. I started realizing, well, none of these people are going to do any of the stuff I want to do. And then I started going to new places and saying, hey, hi, I'm Samantha. Do you want to do this thing with me? Like, how do I hang out with you? And over time, I was able to do that, okay? So I really think it's important to put social and play together, because then you not only hit two birds with one stone, but ultimately, why wouldn't you want to do stuff with your friends, okay? If that's not the case for you, well, then you're going to put play somewhere else. Maybe play is on Saturday, okay? Maybe play is when you go and play soccer, or you go play basketball, or that's the day that you go and do the fun stuff, whatever that case is, okay? Remember, guys, this is completely customizable. I'm just giving you examples right now on what to do and how to incorporate all of our elements. It's really, really important that you recognize that you are responsible for that, okay? So us filling out this board is going to be very simplistic, but you're going to do it the way that works for you. I don't know when your garbage day is. Maybe it's better for you to do that on Thursday. I have no idea. Maybe you don't work Monday to Friday and it's better for you to hang out with your friends on Tuesday. I don't know. You have to do that stuff, okay? So let's keep going around and looking. So spirit and purpose. I want to put this one in here as an activity during the week because it's really, really important that you have something. So whether it's that you serve people in a spiritual way, so maybe like what I'm doing here, or that you discover purpose, because I think that's a bigger one for a lot of people. It's like, I know what my purpose is now, but it took me years to figure it out. So maybe on Tuesdays, you watch one YouTube video that's, I don't know, 10 to 15 minutes long about motivation and purpose. Okay, that's not taking up a whole lot of your week. You can do that connecting to your Bluetooth in your phone when you're driving home. You can put this on while you're doing the dishes. You know, you don't have to sit there and be like, okay, I'm going to do this as a task. I listen to stuff like this usually when I'm cleaning because I find that it's the best time for me to listen to it. I don't know again about you, but you're going to have to figure out when is the best time to toss that in. Okay. So let's take that out of our list. Next, we're going to think about our emotions. Okay. So your emotional self-care, you need to check in with yourself on a daily basis. So right now we're going to move into the AM and PM. Okay. AM and PM is every single freaking day of your life. You're going to do these things. Do not overfill this. I don't think you should even have more than 5 things in AM or PM, and they shouldn't really exceed more than maybe 10 to 15 minutes tops of your life, with the exception of exercise. Okay, so I'm going to write first AM, I'm going to write exercise. Okay, so I'm going to write workout actually because it's better. Work out. Okay, obviously a workout's going to take 30 to 45 minutes. Personally for me, and I'm telling you as a fitness trainer, you don't need to work out many hours a day. You need to work out for 30 to 45 minutes a day, okay? It's that simple. So it's really not more than that, okay? That's perfect, especially for a beginner, but I'm a seasoned trainer. I'm a seasoned athlete in many ways, and I still only work out 30 to 45 minutes a day tops, okay? And I only work out every second day. But every single day I do something that counts as a workout. So on the days that I don't lift weights, I go walking or I go swimming, okay? So I do an activity every single day with and for my body. Okay, so let's take that off the list immediately. Every day, there's going to be stuff that you want to do in the morning, and having a morning routine is crucial to setting up your day for a good day. Okay, so for me, for my intellectual self-care, every morning I read, okay, for either 20 minutes or the chapter. Sometimes the chapter is shorter than 20 minutes, okay? Sometimes the chapter is much longer than 20 minutes. So I do it for 20 minutes, okay? So it doesn't take up all of my day, all of my life, okay? If you have kids, maybe this is only 15 minutes, okay? If you have kids though, maybe this is as simple as you getting up 30 minutes before your children so that you have time to read for 20 minutes, or so that you have time to do a little workout, or just so you have time to take care of your emotions so that you can just sort of be awake, okay? So emotional self-care, I think you should think about on a daily basis. So maybe that means journaling, let's say journaling in the PM, journal, that's not an N, journaling, okay? Journaling is something that is wildly important. If you remember back to a couple of videos ago, I talk about logging data. I talk about logging data on yourself. There's something in the world called big data. That's companies that are taking in all the information that you do on your phone every day, every time you click something, every website you go to. That's how the algorithm knows how to like catch you and give you ads and stuff like that. So you can do that for yourself. Okay, you can data entry your own self, all kinds of things. How did I feel today? What happened today that made me feel like that? What am I joyful and grateful for? Why am I so pissy about this? Whatever the case is, okay? But journaling is an incredible tool, okay? And it doesn't mean you have to have some perfect method of journaling. Like my journals are messy. It's like, blah, 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 blah. But over time, I was able to find all kinds of data about myself from simple things like tracking my moods every day in my journal, asking myself, why do I feel upset about this? Or why am I so happy about that? Whatever the case is. Also tracking my cycle, all these types of things. Okay, so journaling is a great thing. And you don't have to do this for more than 10 minutes, 5 minutes even, okay? Figure out a few important questions. And actually, more importantly, keep following me because I plan on doing a video about solely journaling that will help you a lot. Again, today's purpose is the board. So stick around. I'd also actually love to know if anything has helped you so far. Please let me know in the comments. I want to know if my work is working for you the way it's worked for me. Okay, so let's take out emotions for journaling, reading, we took out. So what else do we got? Oh, we covered our 8 already. Guys, I'm amazing. I'm kidding. Okay, so you see, so for myself, I'm really guilty for this. I often fall asleep on the couch without brushing my teeth, and that's actually something I really, really want to do. So I have teeth here. Okay. Is there anything else I think that's really important off the top of my head? Okay. We're still going to talk about this in a minute. If you don't want to have this extra space, that's okay. What I want for you to have is this AM, PM, Monday, Tuesday, Friday, whatever, all the way through the week, to include your personal activities that are going to work for each element. My activities, guys, might not work for you. Okay, that's okay. It's totally okay. If you have hobbies that don't sound like mine, but you know they can match intellect self-care, or you know they match social self-care, choose that. Okay, I'm using very general words right now just to give you an idea of how to fill out this board. Now, once the board is filled out, you have a daily task assigned to you by you. Okay, I heard this great saying the other day by what's the guy that has school? I can see his face. Alex Hormozy. I don't know how to say his name. Anyways, lovely gentleman. Really worth listening to if you're into business. But he said the other day that if you experience guilt, you have broken your own rules. And if you experience shame, you've broken someone else's rules. So this is your guilt board. Pack your bags. We're going on a guilt trip. Okay, so here's the dopamine part of our board. We did not assign ourselves anything specific on Monday. That's okay. So in my world, I would probably assign this to doing my floors. I would probably sweep and mop on a Monday. That's just me, okay? Maybe for you, I don't know, maybe you're going to want to do something like water your plants. Maybe you're going to want to do something like phone your mom. I don't know what that is, but you should absolutely assign yourself something here that you've always been wanting to do, that you know is really important to you, that you've been putting off. But only one thing. Okay, these one things should take up anywhere between 5 minutes to an hour at most, because you still need free time. You still need time to rest. And we don't want to fill our schedule so much that we're like, oh, the point here is to take care of ourselves, not make it worse for ourselves. Okay, so let's say it's Monday and I don't know, I watered my plants. So let's write plants. I'm going to take a different colored marker and I'm going to go like this. You see that check mark? That's the dopamine. And every single day in the morning, when I finish my workout, I'm going to put a little check mark. And when I'm done reading, I'm going to put a little check mark. Okay. And in the evening time, when I've done my little journal, I'm going to put a little check mark. And when I brush my teeth, I'm going to put a little check mark. And then I'm going to go to bed and know that today, Monday, I did all the things I said I would do to take care of myself. Okay. And over time, you can change the board, okay? It's come for me, it's come to my life that I have changed all of my activities over and over again, because after a while, I've created the habit. And your habits are the things that are giving you the rewards of life. It's your habits that determine your lifestyle, okay? So eventually, I got really good at certain habits that I didn't need to put them here anymore because they'd become an ingrained habit. But I needed to add something new, okay? So that's where this is going to come in. The more that you have your self-care under control, the more you hit those little check marks every day and you realize, hey, taking care of myself is actually not that hard, and it's not a day at the spa where I can't afford it, and it's not drinking when I can't afford it, and it's not going out when I can't afford it, and it's inviting people over and doing something in the house, and it's doing something simple or free. You'll realize you have a lot more creative space in your head, okay? Once you have creative space in your head, attaining dreams gets a whole lot easier, okay? So for me, one of my personal dreams is all these things I've taught myself and shared and taught others about self-care. I know I'm supposed to do this here. Purpose, okay? My purpose is teaching all this stuff about self-care. You know what oh no, I wrote it. I'm like, did I talk about working out? So see, ingrained habit, okay? So this, I like to call the dream side, okay? Dream. I just realized I forgot to put something down here, so let's do it real quick. Whoop. Perfect. Okay, so for me, this means learning YouTube. And learning YouTube is not that easy, guys. So each and every day, I ask myself, like, what can I do to increase my YouTube? And right now, it's way less about followers and links, and it's way more about editing videos and getting into the habit of what's the best time that I need to do filming, and what's the best thing for me to do to edit, and blah, 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 okay? So whatever your dreams might be, everything has to start with study, okay? So maybe on Mondays, you spend a little bit of time just learning purely about the basics of business. And your business, maybe you want to I don't know, bake cookies, okay? And yeah, okay, let's go with baked cookies. It's pretty easy, okay? So on Tuesdays, you go through recipes and you ask yourself the questions. Oh, like, do I want to do gluten free for anybody? Am I personally allergic? Is there a reason why I want to cook cookies a certain way? Whatever, whatever. And you're gonna just filter through recipes for 20 minutes. Okay. On Wednesdays, you're going to say, hey, I did my self-care. I brought my garbage out, so I have a little bit of time. I'm going to try that cool recipe I seen yesterday, and you're going to make one set of cookies to see if you even like it. Okay? And then on Thursday, you're going to choose another activity related to these cookies. Maybe you're going to see your friends that day, and you're going to tell them about your dream, and you're going to share the cookies you made yesterday with your friends. And you see how this all comes together? All your 8 elements of self-care start moving together. And if these friends do not like your cookies, take their feedback openly, okay? If they say, oh, I don't really like these cookies, blah, 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 listen to what they say. If they just say, oh, I never liked macadamia nut, I just really don't like these, it's not against you. They don't like macadamia nuts. That's okay, okay? If they're just like, oh, you and your cookies, that's not your friends, get rid of them, okay? You want people who are going to support your dreams, and you're going to support theirs too, okay? Maybe Friday comes and you have some leftovers, so you bring the rest to work, okay? And then on Saturday, I don't know, what's the next thing you need to learn? Maybe you want to make a logo. I'm just throwing ideas out here, okay? And maybe on Sunday, you're going to start a Facebook page or make a Facebook post, okay? Super simple stuff, okay? Everything has to start somewhere, and most things start with very rudimentary, basic, easy things, okay? Everything I've ever done when it comes to business started with study. There's nothing I've ever done in business that didn't start with me studying, okay? So your self-care is your dreams and you attain them, but your self-care has to start here in the daily events of your world that make sure that you are always actually taken care of. Okay, you are the only person who can take care of you. It doesn't matter if you're married. It doesn't matter if you have this or that or whatever. You are the one who chooses the food. You are the one who has to exercise. You are the one who has to deal with your personal emotions. You are the one that has to read the book to get the knowledge. These 8 things are the things that you have to do. It doesn't matter how rich or poor you are. It doesn't matter how many good friends you have. No one can do these things for you, okay? Just like no one can pee for you, just like no one can have a baby for you, none of that stuff, okay? You have to do those things. So your 8 elements, if you're not sure of them and this is the first time you've been to my video, go backwards. You're going to get everything you need to know about this. If this is not your first time here, go get you a board, go get you some colorful markers, okay? This is changed my world. It started with a very messy house and a daily chore to keep my house in order, which turned into a daily routine of little things that I realized I wasn't doing for myself and having consequences. You know what happens when you don't brush your teeth all the time? Like, ew, they're gross. You know what I mean? And not having data on myself, for example, like I didn't know why I was so angry. I didn't know why I was like always like, blah, 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 you know what I mean? But journaling certainly brought me there, okay? Reading for 20 minutes a day, taking experts who want me to know everything they've been trying to teach, and I spend 20 minutes a day just trying to learn from them, has increased the quality of my life 10,000-fold, okay? It's not that hard. I know that we live in a busy world. I know that we live in busy lifestyles, but I also know that this right here takes, I don't know, tops 15 minutes at night. I know that this right here takes less than an hour. Actually, if I do it 30 minutes, that's 50 minutes only, 50. Watering plants, I don't know, 3 minutes. Watching a YouTube video while you actually do the dishes every day, hey, you have to do the dishes anyway. That doesn't even take up no time, okay? Going to take your garbage out, for me, I have to drive to the dump and back 10 minutes. For you, it might be just taking it out to the corner. That's 2 minutes, okay? Spending time with your friends, I hope you do that for more than an hour. I hope you do. I hope you have wonderful friends, okay? And if you don't, go find fucking better friends. End the story, okay? Oh, Friday we got the day off. Hey, that's great. That's still self-care, baby, because rest is as important as everything else, okay? And that might count as some of your body work, by the way. Working out and rest are equal in importance, okay? So maybe Fridays is the day that you say to all of your friends and everybody, I don't do anything on Fridays. That's my day. I'm sorry. After 5 p.m., I'm not able to speak to you on the phone. Nothing. It's my time to rest. You're allowed to do that. Okay, so let's say me time. Okay. Okay, so you understand what I'm saying. I can keep on going like this, but this is the method. This is the way that you're going to get it. Put the board in the middle of your house so you can't miss it. So no matter what you're doing, when you walk to the kitchen, it's right there. When you go walk to the living room, it's right there. When you walk to the bathroom, it's right there. I know you guys can't see my house. This is the most central point of my house. I cannot get away from this thing. But it keeps me in order. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing. You're going to get something 2 by 3 feet or 3 by 4 feet, and you're going to put it in the dead center of your house. It's going to be nice and big. I want it to be nice and big so that if you're clear across the room and you still know it's Monday and you're supposed to water the plants, if you're clear across the room and it's morning time, you still know that you should have read for 20 minutes. And if you feel guilty, that's because you know that you want to take care of yourself and you need to. And your board here is kind of like reparenting yourself. Okay. So, friends, we have made it through my first series. Hey! I'm so proud of you. So proud of myself. This is a huge dream for me. I'm really excited. And now that you know the grit board, now that you know the 8 elements of self-care, I hope that you can go out into the world with a little bit more love for yourself, okay? Because when we care for ourselves, that's loving ourselves, right? And when we have our actual self-care in order, then the day with the girls at the spa that I can finally afford from managing my stuff and doing all the things I was supposed to do actually does feel like self-care, okay? That's what we're aiming for. We're aiming for the things that are sold to us as escapism, as self-care, to actually feel like self-care. But they'll only feel like self-care when we have all these 8 things in an actual order, okay? Stick around, subscribe to my channel. I have so many great, exciting, cool ideas to share content with you about how to take care of yourselves in a zillion ways. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for considering yourself. And thank you for being with me on this journey and trusting my information because, friends, I might not be a professional, but I'll tell you, I am a fucking expert. Bless you all. Have a wonderful day.